Welcome to a Saturday edition of Wednesday Night is Overbooked, as we'll be going over NXT and No Mercy. I want to thank everyone who's already in the chat here. We've already got a few folks here already. Hello, Mrs. Sparkles. How are you? And Mr. Frank Yakeley. Hello, sir. Always good to see you. And Mr. Eric Douglas. What do you think the member of Fatal Influence had to Blake Monroe close with JC? Interesting. All righty. So real quick, we might be experiencing some rather extreme weather out here in Las Vegas, so we may get cut short. Don't know, but we're going to stay here as long as we can to get through this premium live event. Also, I want to, as you can tell, I'm by myself. LeftEyeEgo, Bradley Burnett, Duke Devil 95. Matt and Laurence are not here, but they are here. All their links are down below in the description with their social media and all their YouTube channels as well. So if you don't mind, folks,
I'd say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
always a great way to support all our channels. Also down below is the link to that Joker Voice merch store, which has Joker Voice and Wednesday Night is Overbooked exclusive merch. So definitely a great way to support the channel. Okay, for those of you who might be new here, I'm going to go over a couple quick little things real quick here. Now, NXT. This is the developmental brand of the WWE. Think of it like Major League Baseball. If the main roster is the American League and the National League, NXT is the AAA farm system. They are the feeders for the main roster for Monday and Friday night. And speaking of Friday night, let's be honest, when it comes to weekly television, SmackDown has been the weakest show pretty much of professional wrestling, aside from AEW Collision maybe, but it's been pretty bad. I mean, we get the same matches over and over again, same setups with the tag team division, the women's championship division, as we saw on Friday night. And titles don't seem to mean much because titles aren't pushed and they're put into nothing feuds. But honestly, the best segments from SmackDown of late have been when they brought in somebody or multiple people from Raw in for a match or a segment to do a promo for an upcoming premium live event. Now, this is the obvious issue, is the creative side. As we have said this all the time, creative is key. If story doesn't matter, you could have the greatest matches in the ring all you want. No one's really going to care. And while SmackDown is in desperate need of some shakeups and whatnot, new faces, unless the creative team is there, nothing is going to change for SmackDown. Now that brings us to today and the NXT premium live event, No Mercy. Now we're getting close to the end of 2025. Generally, this is where the main roster looks at their rosters on Friday and Monday, as well as NXT, looking for on their rosters who might need to be purged or kind of pushed to the background, and who is ready to come up and kind of shake things up to make things a little more interesting on Raw and SmackDown. So, as we said, today was NXT No Mercy, and for some reason, Shawn Michaels can do something that Triple H can't, and that's book a 6-match card for a premium live event. But I digress. Now, of these 6 matches, 4 of the matches had talent currently on the NXT roster that I believe is ready to jump up to the main roster at any given point. So, did NXT hit a home run? Did the WWE, after the dismal showing that was WrestlePalooza just a few weeks ago, did they make up for that performance?
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
My opinion, no. So we're going to start off with our first match right here. And that was Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. Now, you got Javon, the youngster. I believe he's barely 21. Also, Josh Briggs, youngster as well. Neither of these guys, I believe, is main roster ready just yet. I mean, we've got Javon last night was on SmackDown in Sami Zayn's United States Championship Open Challenge and gave a very good showing. And I would definitely say his stock is on the rise. And this match here, we've got a clash in styles. We got Josh Briggs with a brawling, more brutal power style, and Javon, which is a high flyer, high spot. I'm just going to go over a couple of highlights here. We had Javon, who early on the match was selling a hip and low back. Josh then took advantage of this, taking the early advantage with power moves. Javon hit a crossbody onto the floor. And this is when the crowd started to get excited. This is about midway through the match. The crowd was kind of dead for this. Now, Josh attempted a avalanche choke slam from the top rope all the way down to the mat. And Javon flipped out of it, reverses a choke slam into a cutter, and then goes to the top rope, hits his OG cutter for the 1, 2, 3. He's a crowd favorite, babyface. Javon Evans goes over. Nothing truly exciting in this match. And do I think Oba and Ethan both get called up? We will talk about that very soon. Usually when a call up happens, the person who's going to be called up will put the other person over or will drop a title. Now, we did have 4 title matches on this card, and we came up to our first one right from here. And that was for the NXT Women's Speed Championship. Now, yes, the Speed Championship, those of you who may not know what this is, don't worry. Most folks don't either, because let's face it.
Seriously, no one cares.
This was a title that was exclusively on X and has been discontinued on X and is now being just reinstated over on NXT. So we had, for those of you who don't know what a speed match is, it is a timed match. It is 5 minutes long. At the end of the match, if there's the winner, the champion retains the title. Now, this was supposed to be Sol Ruca here versus Lainey Reed. Now, Lainey Reed was announced by Shawn Michaels earlier today that she got injured in training and she was not medically cleared for this match. So Sol Ruca goes into this match blind, not knowing who the competitor is. And once the music hits, we all know it is Jada Parker. Fine talent. Sol Ruca, I'm just going to say, is absolutely ready for the main roster. So if there was going to be signs that she's going to be heading up there soon, dropping a meaningless title like this would be a good indication of this. Now, the match, I'll be honest, was, if I'm going to be
Boring!
For a match that's supposed to have a time limit, as that's supposed to be at a quick pace, this match just didn't do it for me at all. There was a nice Samoan drop by Jada onto the steps. And now the match really didn't get interesting until about 60 seconds left in the match, where everyone is outside. You got Zarya, who's Sol tag team partner. She's outside cheering her on. And they start jawing with each other. All of a sudden, Lash Legend, who apparently has a feud with Jada going on. I'm sorry, I can't see the hype about Jada. Some folks like her, so we will see. Lash Legend comes out. This is another nothing feud. It doesn't mean anything. They start jaw-jacking. Zarya goes for a spear, hits Lash Legend. Sol is back in the ring. As Jada comes back into the ring, Sol hits her finishing move, the Sol Snatcher, which is a beautiful move. I'm not going to lie. And this was about 10 seconds left in the match for the 1, 2, 3. Sol Ruca retains the WWE Speed Championship. So if anyone's thinking that she's coming up to the main roster anytime soon, probably not. Now, we had our next match, which I was actually looking forward to, and this was going to be This was a weaponized steel cage match between Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Now, this match on paper should have been pretty interesting. You've got a former, you're back. Thank you, Miss Sparkles. I missed you. So this match right here, you had Jordan, a former TNA Knockouts champion, and you had Blake Monroe back when she was with AEW, going by the name of Mariah May, was a former AEW Women's World Champion. So the quality of talent in the ring was definitely. I've never watched women's wrestling. Well, the Blake you might want to start watching. She is something special. So this should have been a pretty good match, as both of them can absolutely go to the main roster right now. I would put them both on SmackDown, because the women's division needs massive help right now. And as I said, a weaponized steel cage match. So you put the steel cage down, and there's weapons attached to the cage: trash cans, leather straps, kendo sticks, baseball bats. There's a table in the ring. Now, started off pretty basic. Jordan hit a spine buster onto a chair. Blake is using the kendo sticks like a baseball bat. Now, Blake did put the chair, Jordan initially fixed the chair into the corner, and they tried to whipping each other into it. Eventually Blake, oh, goodness. Yes, exactly. So eventually Jordan gets posted into that chair, and then Jordan had a right hand injury where she was medically cleared to compete. So Blake is attacking that, exposing the weakness. We get a trash can introduced as Blake puts the trash can onto Jordan, does a double stomp through it. Now, as Blake had opened up a little bag of goodies, there was a hair dryer and a curling iron, because Blake is glamorous, and had tied Jordan's wrists to the ring ropes, and all of a sudden brings out a pair of scissors. And this would make Roman of the Empire really upset, because she used the scissors and started cutting Jordan's hair. Let's see what Mr. Oops. Let's get this right here. Here's my issue with Jordan. We get strong, but what's your personality? I would say the same thing. And apparently, yes, taking out the trash. Absolutely. So the match was okay. It was okay for what it was. A couple cool spots. There was a Jordan hit a avalanche fall away slam from the top rope using the leather straps, whipping Blake Monroe. Blake is great at selling. The fisherman, also Jordan hit this wonderful fisherman suplex onto a Jordan had scattered apparently diamonds, because diamonds are a girl's best friend, onto the ring. Blake does another double stomp through a trash can through Jordan. And then we get the tables introduced. Now, after a very, and I mean agonizingly long time where they're jockeying for position on top of the ring, Jordan hits an air raid through Blake Monroe, through the table for the win. And frankly, this match was really odd, because this is a hardcore match inside a steel cage with weapons. There's no rules. But at one point during the match, someone went for a pinfall, and I believe it was Jordan got her foot on the ropes, and the referee called for a submission break, or didn't count the pinfall because the foot was on the ropes. When did this come into play? So, all in all, I thought this match was very meh. Considering both these women's background, as Jordan was known for having war-type battles with Masha Slamovich over in TNA, and of course we know what Blake what Blake Monroe and her year-long story with Tony Storm that ended in the Hollywood ending over with AEW, and just how hardcore of a match that was. I just expected more. I think this match was very underwhelming. Jordan gets the win, not what I expected. I expected Blake to get the win to probably signify that Jordan's heading up to the main roster soon. I have no idea. Maybe they're saving them both for Deadline in November for the Iron Survivor Challenge. I honestly have no idea. Next match. Moving along, we had Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights. This is for the North American Championship. Also in this match, I think Ethan Page is very much main roster ready. He's been doing great work with whenever Chelsea Green comes down to NXT, doing this kind of Team Canada thing. There's Mr. Ethan. There's Tavion. Tavion has wrestled all over the world, did some time with Pro Wrestling Noah over in Japan. Heel against heel, probably not going to happen. That's just booking wise. I don't see that working. You have no one to cheer. So the title's going to have to go on a babyface at some point. And then crazy names. A lot of wrestlers have crazy names. This is very, very true. Now, Tavion does have a strong amateur background. Took advantage early. A lot of rest holds, slaps, chops, just to kind of get the crowd going. Now, Page sends Tavion to the outside with a back body drop, where Tavion landed flat on the steel grate. That was the walkway into the ring, which just looked like it sucked. I'm not going to lie. And from there on out, Tavion through the rest of the match is selling his lower back. Ethan Page is targeting it with suplexes, lots of holds, bear hugs, and whatnot. This is true. Tavion is also an Olympic medalist as well. Very, very true. Now, again, I'm trying to get through this, folks, because this show is, I'll be honest, the show is not great. At one point, Ethan had Tavion stretched over the top turnbuckle with his exposed back against the steel rod. Tavion reverses it and goes back into that ankle lock made famous by Kurt Angle. Ethan got to the ropes for a rope break, and then there was a series of quick covers between both of them. Ego hits Ethan Page hits a Razor's Edge, which he calls the Ego's Edge, and then he floats over into a Boston Crab, putting more pressure on the back. Tavion gets to the ropes. Ethan then hits a power slam from the top rope, then floats over into a twist of fate, which he calls the Twisted Grin, and still North American champion, all ego, Ethan Page. So again, if we thought Ethan Page was going to be moving up to the main roster anytime soon, a title change would have occurred. Obviously, that's not going to happen right now. Now, at the end of the match, on the Jumbotron, there was, we see El Hijo de Dr. Wagner from AAA, the Mexican promotion that the WWE has a controlling interest in. He is also the AAA Latin American champion, issuing a challenge for Ethan Page. That brings us, we are more than halfway through the match here. This match, I was honestly quite surprised with. This was a match I was not expecting to enjoy. For the NXT Women's Championship, we had the champion, still can't believe I'm saying this, JC Jane versus Lola Vice. Now, Lola Vice has been in this position before as a number one contender. She's challenged former champion Roxanne Perez numerous times. Me personally, I don't know about you guys in the chat. I don't think either of these women are main roster ready yet. Would the challenge be title for title? I don't know if they said that yet, so we will have to come. That I'm sure that will be announced at a later time. But that's a very good question. I don't think either of the women are ready for the main roster as of yet. And if I'm JC Jane, she's been in NXT for 5 years, still hasn't made the main roster yet. Just saying. Now, of course, JC came down with Fatal Influence member Fallon Henley. Noticeably absent was Jasmine Nix. We all know why, and I don't think I do. I need to go into why she wasn't there?
Yes, we know.
Okay, good. So I don't need to explain that. Now, Fallon, of course, on the outside got involved early, distracting Lola. This allowed JC Jane to really sustain most of the offense through at least the first half of the match. Now, JC Jane was showboating a little bit, and Lola rolls her up, does a schoolboy to roll her up, and then floats over into a front ace lock or an STF, and then a flurry of kicks. I think it was Blake to get close to. You asked me that on the Wednesday, and I'm not going to address that here, as a lot of folks in the community are not addressing this topic. So we're going to leave that alone. And I don't think it was Blake. I do not. So, and then Lola does what she does. She's a MMA fighter, so lots of kicks, and then she does her shakes her ass for a hip attack into the corner. Lola misses, then goes for her signature back fist, misses that, and then we get into the outside where Lola takes out Fallon Henley, but then eats a pump kick, a good looking kick from JC Jane. Now, because of the interference, Fallon gets tossed from the ring, so there's no more interference. What else we got here? Yeah, so we'll just leave that alone. And so, where was this? So Fallon gets tossed from the ring. Lola gets back in. JC Jane goes for a pin, which then Lola reverses that again into a chin lock. JC taunts. JC gets out of that. JC taunts Lola's family outside. They're sitting ringside. She's throwing F-bombs at them, taunting them. They're, of course, standing up. Oh, my daughter. Lola then locks in a guillotine chokehold, which then JC reverses into a belly to back suplex, and then actually one of the best moves she does, hits that running knee attack that she learned from Mandy Rose, but that got only a 2 count. Lola then hits her back fist, her spinning back fist, but her momentum took her outside the ring, where someone in a black hoodie, dressed in black, because that's always how it goes with WWE, also attacked Lola from outside the ring. As Lola then beats the 10 count to get into the ring, JC hits her discus elbow and gets the 1, 2, 3 and retains the NXT Championship. Thoughts on Ava's announcement tonight? I will get to that. So up until this point, this was actually the best match, which I was quite surprised with. As I said, neither of these women I feel are going to the main roster at any time. So seeing a match of this quality, I was quite impressed with both of them. And that brings us to the main event, where we have the ruler of NXT, Oba Femi, versus the upstart Ricky Saints. Now, Ricky Saints is no stranger to in-ring action, as he is also a survivor of Guantanamo Bay from his time in AEW. Now, the first thing you notice with these two guys is the difference in size. You get the thing is the size. You got Ricky Saints here, who is about just a shade over 200 pounds, but he's listed at 205. And you got Oba, listed at 310 pounds, and it is just noticeable. Now, again, both of these guys I feel are ready to go to the main roster. Now, Oba dominated early with a power move. Said this is what he does. Ricky reverses with a back body drop and then a drop kick to the jaw. Ricky's really relying on his athleticism to try and quicken the pace. He goes for a suicide dive and just eats a right hand from Oba from outside the ring. Now, from this point on, Oba's really controlling the pace of the match. Just backbreaker after backbreaker after backbreaker. Kyle Fletcher is not even in Guantanamo Bay, and right now he needs to escape collision first. And Hater, she's not coming to NXT. I'm not seeing it. So we've got, again, also much like Ethan Page did with Tavion Heights, Oba places Ricky on top of the turnbuckle and just bends him backwards, direction your body's not supposed to bend. Obviously, going with the low back as Ricky is selling this the entire time, and then delivers a monstrous chokeslam for a 2 count. From here, Ricky does a quick roll up for a 2 count, then grabs Oba by the wrist and does Undertaker's old school, where he kind of walks across the top rope, does a shoulder strike, follows that up with a big Samoan drop for a 2 count. Now, Ricky then goes for a spear, and usually you get on the main roster, you'll see like Seth Rollins do like a reverse of a spear, reverse into something. Oba just swatted it away. This is how just uninterested he was. Then grabs Ricky, does a pop-up European uppercut, which just looks vicious, absolutely vicious. Sends him into the ropes, where then Ricky does hit his spear for a 2 count. Then Ricky from there hits a massive, and I mean a massive pound bomb, but only gets a two count. The two start exchanging rights. Oba delivers a nasty clothesline, goes for a count, and where he gets reversed in a roll-up for another 2 count. Now we're headed outside. Oba clears off the announce table as he attempts to powerbomb Ricky through the announce table, which would cause it to break. Ricky reverses it into a DDT. Table did not break. Ricky then is on the apron, does do a running kick, and Oba does that massive chop right through his chest, which just echoes through the entire arena. It hurts me. It hurts me watching that. That is just nasty. They get into the ring. Oba hits his fall from Grace Power Slam, goes for the cover. Ricky kicks out at 2. Ricky, as Oba goes for another one, Ricky then hits a DDT, grabs Oba into the ropes, does a tornado DDT. 1, 2, 3, match is over. Ricky Saints is the new NXT champion. Now, I kind of was like, okay, this match is just getting exciting. And much like Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza, it just stopped. Literally, the match just stopped. And I don't know why, but it appears that this is what we're going to be having for WWE. At least it's what we've been having in 2025. Just questionable booking, matches that don't make a lot of sense. Now, as far as what Eric said earlier, Ava, the manager, who is the daughter of Dwayne Johnson.
Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself.
Can't resist that. Had an announcement because this past Tuesday on NXT, during the title for title match, Trick Williams and Obafemi, basically the entire locker room of TNA was at ringside, and we got a massive brawl at the end. So we're doing the invasion angle again, which is what we did back in the 90s when WWE acquired WCW, ECW, and it appears they want to run that. This was on Peacock. Peacock is still the home of Saturday Night's Main Event, and for NXT events, all main roster premium live events are on the ESPN app. So that's where you can find those. But yeah, if I was to give this show a description, it would basically be the one word.
Boring.
I was not impressed with this show at all. Again, I thought that after WrestlePalooza and the dismal showing that was, this was an opportunity to really do something special and possibly signify some call-ups, shake things up, make the main roster better. But apparently we're going with just status quo for the rest of 2025 with one title change. Ricky Saints defeats Oba. Do I think Oba gets called up? It's possible. Generally, the way this works, there'll be a rematch. It'll probably be some TNA interference or something. So neither guy has to take a loss, or they're going to save him for, like I said, a deadline toward the end of the year for the Iron Survivor Challenge. He won't win, and then we'll probably see Oba at the Rumble. That's my thought on that. But yeah, so that's a quick review for NXT No Mercy. Kind of uneventful show. We will be back Wednesday talking about the whole world, a whole lot of stuff going into Crown Jewel, stuff that's been going on in the news. Certain EVPs from ECW just can't keep their mouths shut, and a whole lot of other stuff. Of course, I'm talking about Wednesday night is overbooked, but I want to thank everyone who stopped by. If you're lurking, please leave a comment, especially after on the rewatch. It just helps the algorithm. And again, look down below in the description, all of our channels for everyone a part of Wednesday Night is Overbooked. We all have links to our YouTube channels. So if you don't mind,
I'd say you better subscribe or we'll bash in some skulls, right?
thank you, Harley. So on behalf of myself, everyone in the chat, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for commenting. It keeps the stream going. And be sure, keep talking, keep smiling, Until next time, folks.
Toodles!
Take care.
Here we go.
Is like gravity. All it takes is a little push.
Ah!